This video was made possible by Squarespace. There's been so many videos going over how certain Pokemon have changed over the years that even I've covered before, but this time I want to go over some of the lesser known changes, specifically for shiny Pokemon. Some shinies transitioning to the new Pokemon games got way better, others not so much. So I've made a list of 30 shiny Pokemon that you probably didn't know looked way different before. Starting with, we all know Ponyta for being one of the few blue-flamed shinies. It looks great. Well, this wasn't the case in Gen 2, where the shiny was just dull. Yeah, they definitely fixed the shiny real good. It's pretty safe to say that Scissor's slick red coat suits it much better than this weird snot green one. Well, in Pokemon Colosseum, Scizor had a bright yellow, almost golden coat. In my opinion, this was a way better colour for Scizor than what it was given. Although I will say, they did do a good job improving the look of its shiny in Scarlet and Violet. Ammonite and Omastar followed suit with a lot of blue water types, gaining a purple colour for its shiny. This however wasn't the case in Gen 2, where instead the blue turned grey. On one side, it's definitely less colourful, but on another, it does stand out from the other purple water shinies out there. Sandshrew and Sandslash are another two shinies that look way better than they used to be, with Sandshrew having one of the best green shiny colours, and Sandslash's iconic slick red. However, back in Gen 2, these shinies were more than underwhelming, especially compared to what they have now. Clefairy and Clefable's shiny colours have always been pretty bad. If you asked anyone how you'd improve this shiny, I think most people would probably say make it blue. Very fitting, don't you think? Well, guess what? This is what their shiny colours were supposed to be back in the Gold and Silver beta. Why on earth would you change them to this? What a letdown. Even though Rapidash doesn't rock the blue flames like its pre-evolution does, it does get a cool grey flame, but in Gen 2, it instead had purple flames. Honestly, I'm not sure which one of these I prefer, since purple flames are really cool. However, the grey smoky look also works really well. Coughing and Wheezing had pretty cool shinies back in Gen 2, but they were much improved in Gen 3 onwards. While the blue is nice on them, the combination of sea green and purple smoke suits them so well. Definitely a Pokemon that had good shinies before, that only got better over time. I've talked about the Cyndaquil line shinies before, so much better than the shiny it has today. Well, in Colosseum, their shinies were arguably even better, having a red coat and green flames to go along with it. Green flames aren't really a thing you see, especially in Pokemon, so it is a shame they were taken away from this line. Or at the very least, keep the purple flames. Either one works. Geodude and Graveler also differed quite a lot in Gen 2. Instead of the golden look we're all familiar with, they became more of a brown colour. Fitting for their type, although becoming gold also suited them somewhat. For a while, Magearna's regular form was basically shinyless. That is until Gen 8, where Magearna's shiny was finally updated, and it got this. It's a Chrome shiny, before Chrome shinies were everywhere. Might not be as cool as its other form shiny, but still a pretty good one overall. And honestly, anything is better than no shiny at all. We all know Magcargo's shiny is completely inferior to its pre-evolutions, but even though in Gen 2 Slugma's shiny was still better, shiny Magcargo was a deep blue instead of pink. There are definitely pink shinies that I like a lot more than Magcargo's, so seeing it blue is a pretty nice change. Swinub shiny has always been way better than its evolutions, even when its shiny completely changed. It actually started out as a blue shiny, but as the gens went on, the shiny form became more minty. Hard to say which shiny colours suit it more, but either way, much better than whatever its evolutions had. Like Magearna, Castform also lacked shiny colours, although this time being with its alternate forms. That is until Gen 8 graced us with these shiny forms, and they're all really good in my opinion. Hopefully we get to shiny hunt them properly soon. I'm not saying that shiny Espeon is bad, but I've always thought that white coating was so much better on it. And then I found out that shiny Espeon in Pokemon Stadium 2 looked like this. What a beauty. The mint colour works so perfectly on it. Like I said, regular shiny Espeon, I don't mind, but let's be real, the mint shiny is so much better. Politoed shiny went through quite a few different changes. Everyone knows about blue Politoed, but not as many people knew that shiny Politoed looked pretty different in both Gold and Silver and Pokemon Stadium 2. Hard to say which shiny is the best of these forms, but all of them look pretty good in their own way. Now before we continue, I want to talk about today's sponsor, Squarespace. If you're looking to start your own brand or business online, Squarespace is the best place to do it, and stand out by creating your very own website. Squarespace's all-in-one platform gives you almost endless ways to customize your own brand to look as sleek and as professional as possible. The site gives you a bunch of templates to start out with according to whatever site you're making, whether it be gaming, music, or pretty much anything you want. You're able to adjust the site to how you want it to look, adding text, images, buttons that do stuff, and even better, you're able to see what your site will look like on a computer or mobile. There's no place that makes creating a brand new professional website easier. So go to squarespace.com to start a free trial, and if you use the promo code AURA signing up, you'll save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Ampharos is a perfect example of how to make a great pink shiny. This, however, wasn't the case in Gen 2. With Ampharos looking somewhat dull compared to the rest of its line. Not a bad shiny, but the pink definitely suits it more. Shiny Poliwrath is a perfect example of why the shade of a colour can make all the difference. Shiny Poliwrath today is an okay green shiny at best. In Gen 2, however, this green shade was closer to turquoise, and in my opinion looked much better. Honestly, I think the entire evolution line should have just followed this. Raichu, Larvitar and Machop. These shinies all share a spot for basically following the same pattern. Their regular form changing colour with their shiny form. Pretty much the same thing what happened to Smeargle. Funny to think this happened way more times than we expected. Shiny Ferret is an interesting case. We all know Ferret's candy pink shiny. Very, very fitting. However, Gen 2, while still pink, was pink in a different way, with the body changing colour to pink instead of the stripes. This doesn't work nearly as well as it's shiny now, so they definitely fixed this shiny up if you ask me. Shiny Lantern is an interesting case, and a perfect example of how not to transition a shiny colour from 2D to 3D. Gen 3 to 5, Shiny Lantern was a very noticeable purple. Gen 6 and onwards, however, yeah, you get the picture. Arbok is another interesting shiny case. The shiny form is bright yellow, almost gold looking in some gens, with blue accents. This was not a case at all in Gen 2, however, with Shiny Arbok having a more dirty green look, with purple accents. Hard to say which shiny form is better, but the old shiny does represent its typing a lot more. Venomoth and Cloyster shinies are the same case here. They're purple Pokemon, with blue shinies, whose shinies used to be purple. A different shade of purple, but still purple. Yeah, I think I prefer the blue shiny a lot more. Spinarak is a shiny that looks good at first, but got even better over time, starting out with a nice purple shiny, and eventually becoming the very fitting baby blue with purple accents. It's also worth mentioning that Spinarak's regular colours were also different originally. So yeah, great shiny all around. Heracross is probably one of the most iconic pink shinies out there. Before it became a solid pink, however, Shiny Heracross was coated in a deep purple in Gen 2, as well as an even deeper purple, or even blue, in Colosseum. So shinies around the similar spectrum, but very different looking still. Either way, they all work pretty well. Horsea is a shiny that went through quite the change. We all know it having the nice turquoise coat. In Gen 2, however, the main differences were that the accent colours changed from cream to this pinkish purple colour. Not terrible, but nowhere near as good as the shiny it has now. Shiny Ghastly has been all over the place. We all know it for having the bright blue gas colour, as well as changing purple. Well, not only did Pokemon Go ruin these shiny colours, so much so that after people complained, they eventually fixed them. In Scarlet and Violet, Ghastly's shine colours are even less noticeable. Like, come on. The blue does not stand out that well at all, especially compared to what it used to look like. If Lugia's shiny was at one point Shadow Lugia, this would definitely be a case of the shiny being better. But instead, Lugia's shiny in Stadium 2 looked like this. Do I prefer it to its regular shiny? I'm not sure. The shade works really well in it in my opinion, so I like both. Shiny Slugma is one of the most fitting shinies in the game. The grey molten look works so well, but if we rewind back to Pokemon Colosseum, Slugma's shiny was not good. More of a dirt greenish golden colour. A massive downgrade to what it has today. Paras is another Pokemon whose regular and shiny colours almost switch back in Gen 2, and while the shiny colour is much more noticeable than its current shiny, where it really stands out is Fire Red and Leaf Green. Not only does it have a darker body, but it also has yellow mushrooms. This is actually a pretty great shiny in my opinion. and now its shiny is just a bit darker and that's it. Definitely a downgrade from its fire red leaf green shiny. And finally we have Gengar. This is a very unique situation, as it's a Pokemon whose shiny has both become better and worse over time. We all know how Gengar's Mega made its shiny worthwhile, becoming this amazing white, along with its Gigantamax form. But even though these shinies are the best shinies that Gengar's ever had, its regular form really wasn't as bad as it is today. Comparing the sprites of past generations, Gengar's shiny colours were very noticeable, and even looked pretty good. But as the generations went on, Gengar's regular shiny got worse and worse, and led to the terrible shiny that we know and hate today. But even though Gengar is a mixed bag when it comes to shinies, it's still cool to see the journey that its shiny has gone through. And those are 30 shiny Pokemon that at some point completely changed colour. Some of them got much better, others not so much. And if you did enjoy, please do leave a like, as it does help the video out. Subscribe for more Pokemon videos in the future. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring the video, and until next time, thank you so much for watching.